Hello and welcome to the Canon at the Marmo. My name is Melissa Gonzalez and I will be your MC and host for the evening. Thank you so much for making the trek out here. I know some of you came a long way, so we really appreciate it. And for those of you local, we appreciate your support as well. So we will go ahead and get started. This is being live streamed, so that's what this is. All right, so I just wanted to run through a brief timeline of what we went through to put together this competition. So we started sending out applications in November of 2021, which is a little bit wild now to think about. Our deadline was December 31st, and then we started interviewing folks in January and announced our finalists at the end of January. We then paired all of our startups with advisors. So if you were an advisor to a startup, if you can raise your hand, because I would love to give you a huge thank you. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time and dedication, and I know our startups really appreciated it. So that brings us to the end of February, where our startups were meeting with their advisors, and then here today for our competition. So again, thank you all so much. And now I'd like to introduce our judges. So I will start with Dr. Scott Moen. After 5 years in the Marine Corps, Scott earned his bachelor's degrees in biochemistry and molecular biology and chemistry, followed by a doctorate in biomedical sciences, specializing in microbiology and immunology. That's a mouthful. He then was a principal investigator for Sandia National Laboratories, where he conceptualized and developed microfluidic medical diagnostics, supervised clinical validations of diagnostics and equipment, and developed multiple types of laboratory equipment, often for low-resource environments. Currently, Scott is the Director of Health Innovation at the University of Texas Medical Branch, where he collaborates with UTMB faculty to conceptualize, construct, and implement diagnostic devices, software, and medical hardware. He has multiple patents, serves on the Technology Commercialization Executive Committee, and has performed and assisted others in pitching. Additionally, he is the Assistant Director of the Medical Technology Resource Center and Assistant Professor in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology. So we are honored to have you, Dr. Moen, so thank you. Thank you. We also have Raven J. Moore. He is a CPA and crypto entrepreneur in Houston, Texas. His mission is to teach people the personal finance skills they need to budget, save money, and invest confidently. As a partner at Crypto EQ, Raven's mission is to empower the novice or average crypto user with comprehensive, high-quality, and unbiased fundamental research, technical, and sentiment analysis. Together, Raven and Crypto EQ simplify cryptocurrency research. So we're excited to have you as well. And last but certainly not least, we have Larry Dinner. After earning a Bachelor's of Science in Biology at the University of California, he moved to Baylor College of Medicine in Houston for a PhD in neuroscience. Following postdoctoral trainings and his first faculty position at Baylor College of Medicine, he joined a startup small molecule drug discovery company in the Texas Medical Center. After 12 years, he became a professor of internal medicine at the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. Additionally, he has devoted extensive efforts to mentoring in innovation and entrepreneurship, which he believes integrates people in the educational institutions on Galveston Island with the community, business, and investment communities, including the Canon at the Marmo, Vision Galveston, the Galveston Chamber of Commerce, and many other organizations. With retirement from UTMB imminent, he will be expanding his community volunteer efforts to help build the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystems, focusing here on the island. So we're excited to have you, Larry. All right. And now y'all get to stop hearing me blab. Oh, no, you don't, not yet. So today we have some prize money being awarded. So first place today will take home $10,000. Second place will take $6,000, and third place will take $4,000. So we've got some good things at stake today. And it is sponsored by the McClure Innovation Fund, and we are very thankful for them. So now you can hear me stop blabbing, and I will turn it over to Alfonso with Social Bevy. this is for the live stream.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. How we doing? Everybody doing all right? Okay, great. All right. Who in here loves to have a good time? All right? Okay. All right. Over the past few years, we've learned the importance that social interaction plays on our mental health. So much so that the CDC reports that social isolation increases the chances of heart disease by 29%. So what affects your mind affects your body, right? Social interaction is important. Now, have you ever been to a new city and you didn't know how to find the activities that you like? Raise your hand, right? Now, do you think that those small businesses that produce the activities that you like, that they have their own app? Raise your hand. Oh, got a couple, okay. Sweet. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but here's the interesting thing. The problem is that we don't know how to find the activities that we like, so we use multiple apps and or platforms just to find that one. And those social producers who produce the activities can't find us, so they use multiple apps and platforms just to market that one event. Now, what if I told you that there was an app that served you as your social concierge so that you didn't have to worry about finding the activities that you like? And then for social producers, it acted as a one-stop shop data and marketing platform. Well, that's why I like to introduce to you Social Bevy, a social concierge platform that connects users to events and activities tailored to their social preferences while rolling the services of multiple platforms into one. It's a one-stop shop for social engagement, the Match.com or Bumble for your social life. Now, we're able to do that because users set up their own profile in which they identify what their social preferences are using various categories on our platform. But we not only want to know what categories they like, we want to know specifics within each category. So if you like music, what type of music is it that you like? Is it jazz? Is it country? Is it rock? And then using this data through our aggregation and algorithm, we could then provide our users with a unique customer experience. And then for social producers on our platform, we actually found out, with those of you who raised their hand, that over 70% of those small businesses do not have an app or capture data. Social Bevy provides a solution in a consumer data platform that allows them to leverage data so that they can gain customer insight and drive revenue, all while using our matchmaking algorithm that matches their product up with the customers that are looking for specifically what they're offering. Now, you might say there are a lot of apps out there, and there are, but we're the only company that provides this complete solution of services in this space. But we're not about competition. We're about building bridges, creating partnerships, as we want to amplify our partners. Right now, today in our prototype, our users not only get customized data, but they can also get access to these events by buying a ticket. If they need to connect to, they need to book an Uber or a Lyft, they could do that seamlessly in our platform and never leave the app. Now, okay, and so for our revenue model, this lends into our scalability and sustainability in our platform, right? Our initial phase of revenue will be consistent of producer subscriptions, which we will charge $3.99 per month, and ticket sales, where we will earn a percentage of the tickets that are sold through our platform. And as we grow, we will add more revenue streams to our model as well. Keep pushing the wrong button. So to date, in our pre-MVP phase, we actually have customers. Mark Cuban once said that if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have sales. We are a business. We also have strong strategic partnerships with local civic entities that we plan to help leverage to grow our company. And for our financial projections, we like to follow the mindset of one Warren Buffett and Mr. Charlie Munger, who says that you should always think from a minimum perspective, taking the worst case and not the best case scenario. And so that is reflected in our projections, also taking into consideration the level of investment and our go-to-market strategy. Now at Social Bevy, we're about the team and our purpose first and foremost. Well, my name is Alfonso Roundtree, and I'm the founder of Social Bevy. And as a former pro football player, I reached the highest level in my profession, making it to the NFL. But I took that work ethic and I transitioned it into a business career where I've attained goals and hit certain numbers such as 30% year-over-year growth, and I've done a lot more. But what's even more important is the impact that we've had, that social interaction has on mental health. During the pandemic, 40% of adults reported an increase in depression and anxiety, which also results in an increase of risk of stroke, making it go to 32%. Mental health is that one important factor that affects all of us. And as we approach this new endemic, we gotta get more people social. And by winning this competition here today, this will allow us to complete the development of our MVP, and it will also help us in helping the world to get social simply. Thank you.
All right, we'll open it up for 5 minutes for Q&A.
What does the number of users look like on your platform?
So,
How's that growth been?
yeah, so right now we have about 500 plus downloads, but that's definitely in our beta, from a beta phase. We have not launched the platform. As I mentioned earlier, we're in our pre-MVP phase. And so we've actually taken on the approach of switching up our model. So our initial model was more user focused, right? And so now we're taking on the concept of going through our businesses. So going through those producers, which is how we got those customers. And so we're taking that approach and leveraging our customers to help drive our user growth and adoption.
Are you planning on linking directly to, say, Lyft, or are you going to work with the APIs to actually get that information inside your app itself?
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. Absolutely. Yep.
You may have said this, but what's the total market look like, and what about people that are on the cusp of being social that you think you might be able to capture?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are all different things that we want to make sure that we address, right? So total market size, depending on what size we're talking about. You're talking about industry. From an industry standpoint, the actually online events, online ticketing is well into a few $1 billion. From a number standpoint, right here in the U.S. in terms of total market, we actually, our addressable market, we feel like our target market is more from 25 to 45 ages. Although, so that represents about 115 million in the U.S. But although we feel like this app really kind of applies to a larger base, because everybody has a smartphone right now. We got about 90% of all adult U.S. citizens on a smartphone. And so that's kind of what we feel like we can address. Now, to your point about addressing those people that may be a little skeptical about getting out and that kind of thing, which is certain elements that we want to add to the platform to where we can identify certain venues that are safe, right? That what we call we have what's called a social safe seal. And basically it's like a seal of approval to say, hey, this is a safe place for you to attend, visit, and that sort of thing.
So how do you plan on getting these events? So there's events that reoccur, and I could see movie theaters or something to that effect, where you'll have that on your service and that's easy for you to set up. But what about something that's one-off?
Mm-hmm.
How would you plan on searching for those and integrating them into your app?
So one, again, to your earlier point, API. So we actually have API relationships currently with, we have agreements with Ticketmaster and another company called Occasion Genius. These are event aggregators, so we take that, we use that API. And then also, so through us building our network and our business, we'll be going out to those local markets, getting those local businesses that put on that one-off concert, that one-off event, right? The whole concept is to get them to understand that we have a target market that you can't normally reach on our platform that gives you a little bit of an advantage, right? So that's the way that we plan to reach that.
So you'll have someone actively seeking.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There's time for about one more question.
I have one. Could you tag the different revenue streams that you have
Yes.
You talked about a couple, but I'm guessing there's probably more than just those couple.
So yeah, so one would be producer subscriptions. Like I said, we'll charge $3.99 per month for those. We'll also have ticket sales. So as we sell tickets, somebody, they post an event, create an event on our platform, we generate revenue from that. Then in addition to that, we'll have in-app transactions. So when a user books an Uber, when they book a Lyft, they make hotel reservations, any type of activity like that, we'll have a service fee for that as well. Those are, initially it'll just be the producer subscription and the ticket sales, but then as we grow, we'll add more features, right? And then also there'll be some licensing opportunities to maybe even leverage, say, like a Bumble or Match.com. So you have these people that are meeting all the time. The first thing is, hey, where can we meet, right? Social Bevy knows that the one person and the other, what they both like. Here's some suggestions on where you can go based on what you like. So we have those licensing opportunities as well, which also positions us for maybe acquisition.
One last question for me. So your MVP, what do you plan on incorporating as far as all those companies you showed earlier?
Yes.
What is your goal line for your
Oh, the MVP? So the MVP will just be where they, obviously the customized experience. Then in addition to that, they'll be able to buy tickets, and then we'll have the Uber and Lyft functionality as well. It's already currently in our prototype as it is. We just need to button up some stuff from a development standpoint. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Alfonso.
Thank you. Oh.
There you go. All right. Ready? We'll give a couple of minutes for our judges while we get our next presenter set up.
Hi, my name is Nigel Thomas, and I am second year PhD student at UTMB and founder of Connectyfi. So my academic career spans across multiple institutions in different countries, and always I had the same problem, finding an internship. So I was curious whether other students find the same problems or not. So in my survey, I found out that 80% of students always find it difficult to get an internship or next job opportunity. That led me to create Connectyfi. The problem is institutions, universities, their campuses, their departments, and the schools are totally decentralized and they are independent of each other. So students are not able to find local internships in their own campuses. So they have to cold email a professor asking whether you have funds or you have internship, for which they usually never get reply. On other hand, faculties and businesses spend atrocious amount of money for advertising and hiring a candidate. This creates a big market opportunity. In US alone, $14.2 billion market is for online job boards. And out of this, for STEM field particularly, it's 400,000 STEM companies and 14,000 institutions. But we are focused on only 600 research institutions and 7,000 companies that will generate a revenue of $44 million by annual subscription, which will be focusing from $2,500 to $4,000 for academic institutions and $3,500 to each businesses. So Connectyfi will be a web platform that will help college students to create a community of peers, faculties, and businesses worldwide and make the hiring process cheaper and faster for everyone. Students will be, the job seekers will be directly connected with the job opportunities. Businesses can screen candidate profile under a minute, and that can save money and time spent for hiring. How we work is we will be having a database of actively hiring, faculties who are currently actively hiring. So that students don't have to cold email professors to ask whether you have funds or are you taking an internship or job positions open. Instead of resumes, we'll be using video enhanced smart profile that will help businesses to screen candidates under a minute, actually 57 seconds. And we'll use the AI to rank best potential candidate out of the entire cohort of candidates who have applied for the job position. So our go-to-market strategy, currently we are focusing on the Texas market, especially Houston, Texas Medical Center. We'll be using paid advertisements on Facebook, University of Texas Facebook page to create a brand awareness between the faculties and the students. Currently, I am doing direct sales. I am approaching directors, deans, provosts, and the chairs of institutions so that they can become our customer and use this platform. We also plan to use offline events like international conferences, workshops, and seminars where we can have advertisements so that we can create a brand awareness between in the students community. So current traction, we are not yet launched. We are 2 weeks away from our beta launch, but we already have letter of intent from University of Texas Medical Branch, University of Texas Houston, and a biotech company, HTT Bio in Seattle. And we have also got expression of interest from Scientific Attaché of France. He's the France ambassador in US, and he has specifically requested to use this platform for all the French students who are currently studying in US to get jobs in US and back in France. And we also currently talking with Salesseer and Exxon Health in Houston. These are biotech companies, and they are currently hiring students in their company. So competitor analysis, we do have competitors, but we are not just a job board like 140 out there. We are creating a worldwide community. If a student who is working in neuroscience field, he will be part of a community of neuroscience students and experts worldwide. We are academia focused and industry focused together. We increase collaboration. Students can find other students in their campus or other campuses and work on a project. We help in career navigation. We just don't get a job for a student, but we help students to understand what kind of job they are eligible for and show those jobs. And we reduce the hiring time. I am the CEO, even though my background is cancer biology, but still I am currently doing the sales. My network spans across, as I said, different institutions in different countries. I have networks there so that we can expand our startup faster to different countries. And my CTO, he's a gem. He has 20 years of experience as a full stack developer and startup consultant. Currently, we are asking for $140,000 in SAFE. And major of that will be spent on hiring a sales rep so that we can expand faster and pay our dev engineers. Thank you for listening to me. This was Connectyfi.
Thank you, Nigel. We'll open it up for questions.
I saw there you had something about AI, but you had video-based AI to go through the profiles as opposed to NLP.
So this is the smart profile we'll be using. Instead of students sending a resume and a cover letter, this is what the faculties and businesses will look. So entire details about a candidate, what from his education timeline, professional compatibility, visa status if companies are hiring only citizens or international students, everything will be shown here. And apart from that, we'll be having 5 short intros, small videos of 1 minute, where students will explain what research they did or what, why they are applying for this job position. So in that 57-second or 60-second video itself, you can, a business or a faculty can find out whether these are the students I like to hire.
2 follow-ups. So the smart profile is going to be tailored for each institution they're applying for?
So this, Connectyfi is totally STEM based, community-based web platform. So we don't need personalized, all the details will be given on this screenshot, and businesses or faculties can look into what they are specifically, if faculties want to look at what kind of professional or research experience they had or what kind of projects they did, they will be having drop-down menu and they can look the entire profile. But on the one screen itself, they can see everything.
I'm sorry, I missed it, but I saw you had an AI component. I'm not understanding where AI comes in.
Okay, so what we use is we'll be using just not keywords, we'll be using the entire profile of a candidate and match it with the job description.
Okay, so it is an NLP.
Yes, yes, and we'll be using everything, and then we'll only show only best 10 candidates to a hiring manager.
Okay, thank you.
Will there be any cost for the job seekers to use this program?
I will always be keeping this free for students, and the companies who are currently hiring interns, we'll be keeping it free for them also. I would like to promote more internship coming out of companies. Companies currently pay somewhere around $5,000 to $7,000 to hire an intern. I'm keeping that part also free for companies. For students, it will always be free.
What about for the paid jobs, for paid roles?
For paid roles, if it's business, it will be $1,000 subscription, and every person they hire, it will be $2,500. And for the academic institutions, it will range from $2,500 to $4,000 depending on how big the institution is and how many users are there.
So you have listed institutions, you said they have letter of intent. Did they agree to your pricing?
Yes, they are the one who agreed for pricing.
I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit more on the plans for what your timing looks like, the runway here, and what your revenue stream looks like across that platform.
Okay, so by this year ends, we would be taking all the institutions under University of Texas Health System and Texas A&M system. And that will create, for next 1 year, it will create $475,000, out of which we'll be spending $205,000. That will be our expense. So it will be 50% margin we'll be having. And by next year, fiscal year, quarter 4 of 2023, we'll be having entire Houston hub, Washington DC, and Chicago hub as our customers.
So that's a tiny fraction of the total market that
Yes.
is addressable. What do you see as your progression over 5 years? Or, I mean, I realize that's very speculative, but how many institutions do you think you can drum up?
So that's what I had specified here. So we will be able to reach 600 research institutions. That includes the universities and core research institutions like NIH and FDAs who are taking alone in US. We have a different business plan. So this business plan will only work in US and UK because here universities will have extra funds to subscribe for such softwares. But for Asian countries, this is not the way the business will work. There, the students will pay a price to make the profile and then get the job opportunities done. Whether they want to come to US to get their studies and do the jobs here, or they want to get do the studies here and go back to India or China, we'll be helping them in that. So for US, this is for next 4 years, we are targeting 600 research institutions and 7,000 biotech companies in US alone.
Thank you, Nigel. It's not actually amplifying, it's only for the live stream.
And this goes to my pocket.
Yeah, just in your pocket. You need to be higher. So yes, we are just for the live stream.
Yeah, as long as it's not amplifying, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's not amplifying. Just give them a couple minutes and then I'll let you know.
Hi everyone, my name is Arthur Safiani, the founder of NeuroCreis, developing therapeutics for neurological disorders. Now the prevalence of neurological diseases has been increasing exponentially as we grow older as a population. Just Alzheimer's alone, there's 6 million patients, and it's going to double in 30 years. A market analysis of just Alzheimer's alone, and there are many neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and many neurotraumatic injuries that we can treat. Just Alzheimer's alone, there's $500 million in research each year, with $300 billion spent each year on Medicare costs in the US alone, and that will triple in the next 30 years. The real problem is that there are no therapeutics for these neurological disorders. None for Alzheimer's, none for Parkinson's, and definitely not for traumatic injuries sustained by many veterans in our military service. The problem is that with current drug screenings, they are testing these drugs in stem cells or embryonic cells, and these cells do not exist in the adult brains. So if you want to find the drug for the adult brain, you need to test directly in adult brain cells. And because they're not adult brain cells and they're stem cells or embryonic cells, they cannot determine if these drugs are harmful to adult brains. And the most important note to take home today is that they cannot find compounds that are therapeutic to adult brains that are not therapeutic to embryonic or stem cells. In fact, many anti-inflammatory medication are very beneficial to adults, as we know, and they end up killing embryonic cells. So if you want to find the therapeutic for adult brains, you have to use adult brain cells. And because of this, there are very low clinical relevance to these screenings that use these cells, and they waste a lot of time and resources. And our solution is very simple: to test directly on adult brain cells. These adult brain cells are extracted from adult animals, and it allows us to determine the sex and age-dependent effects of these drugs and conduct demographic-specific analysis to determine which demographic will benefit the most out of these drugs. Our new drug discovery screening pipeline is the first to use adult brain cells, process them, and put them through a robotic system where it's bias-free and human-free handling, imaging, and quantification. We also enhanced this and developed the first platform to use adult sheep brain cells, the first platform to use sheep brain cells of any age, and also the first platform to provide dual species validation. This enhanced platform allows us to increase our throughput 100-fold, increase our processing speed 2-fold, and it's 50 times cheaper to screen in this pipeline than our previous. And this, again, provides dual species validation. This is very important because if a drug works in mice, who knows if it will work in humans? But if it works in mice and sheep, which are not very related, then there's a much higher chance that it will work in humans as well. And it's all about increasing the translation rate, finding drugs that work in adult human brains. Benefits to our method is reducing overall cost of drug development by increasing the translation rate, finding targets beneficial to adults that other people have missed. Again, other people cannot find these therapeutic benefits when they're not using adult brain cells, increasing chances of clinical success. Our improved drug discovery model is to have less positive hits, but these positive hits have much more meaning, to have low preclinical cost because of these less positive hits. And we have a higher chance of success because we're vetting more carefully and having results that are adult-specific. Our current therapeutic aims is to enhance neuroprotection, motor function, and cognitive function. These are therapeutics that are applicable to most neurological disorders, and in fact, natural aging as well. So the market is unlimited. And it's all about maximizing therapeutic applications, finding drugs, and finding multiple uses for them. So right now, we have multiple lead compounds. We've taken them to the animal studies, preclinical stages right now, and that's where we're at. And we're studying motor function, cognitive function, and cardiometabolic disease. And although that seems unrelated, it's not. Cardiometabolic disease causes neurological disorders, and neurological disorders cause cardiometabolic disease. So it's important to maximize therapeutic applications, to maximize the evaluation of the company, to maximize profit potential and market capacity. Our business model is currently to screen in drug libraries, develop the therapeutics, which we are right now. We're in the preclinical stages as we're a drug development company. And then we're going to conduct IND-enabling studies to move them along the clinical phases. We're also open to licensing negotiations to license our platform and the drugs that come out of it. We have several patent applications pending and publications as well, and I'd be happy to discuss these further after the presentation. And this company is founded by myself and also an assistant professor, Dr. Geoffroy, at Texas A&M College of Medicine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll open it up for Q&A.
So I can see you talked about using other animal models, and I can see how this would be useful for like the 2-model NIH kind of work through. But how well has the sheep model been characterized for your applications? I understand how it can definitely increase the workflow, but if it doesn't mimic a human-type injury or a neurodegenerative event, then it's not going to be all that powerful. So what characterization have you done?
So just a couple decades ago, there was a publication saying that it was impossible to culture neurons from sheep, from adult sheep. So not many people have tried to culture these, and there's no one else that we know of currently that we know of. There might be, but there are no public publications on this showing that. So there's no characterization. But it makes sense to us that if you're going to find something for adult human brains, and we can't use human brains, right? So you want to use 2 species that are readily available and cheap, but also are very separately apart. Using 2 rodents wouldn't provide that dual species validation. So that's why we use a large mammal and also a rodent. But it has not been characterized previously.
What about expanding the workflow? So right now you've got certain therapeutics that you're looking at, and then if you're going to use this as a service, you're going to need to get to the point where you are getting quite a bit of sheep brains and doing whatever processing you need, and then doing the refinement and then doing the application of whatever the therapeutic might be. So have you given much thought of where you're going to do this and where you're going to get the personnel and all that?
We have all the facilities and resources available at Texas A&M University, College of Veterinary Medicine more specifically. We have all the personnel in place, all the physicians, veterinarians, and also research assistants needed. And we are capable of conducting larger scale screens, and we plan to do so as a company, but not as a screening service, but to find novel compounds people have missed in previous screens. And that is the goal of the company, is to move these lead compounds into the clinical phases. It's just that our company has a different screening mechanism than other drug discovery companies, and that's our main goal of our company.
So you really have two different products here. You have the sheep brain model, and then you also have how many different therapeutics are you looking at?
We have currently 4 lead compounds.
Okay, so 4 lead compounds, and then you have the 2.
Yes. Yeah, so providing a CRO was an option, but we decided to use it as only for developing our lead compounds rather than serving other companies. So we're essentially our own customer in the CRO section.
Thank you.
Would you say your biggest competitive advantage is the screening pipeline, where you're
It's our only competitive advantage because there are many others that are doing exactly what we're doing. Since there are no therapeutics developed for these neurodegenerative disorders or neurotrauma, there is no model to go based off of. So there's no evidence that we are in the right direction. There's no evidence that they are. There's no evidence whose model is better. But this makes more sense than using embryos and stem cells that do not exist in adult brains. And for that reason, we have people interested in this model and have invested.
So I'm curious, this is a scientific question.
My favorite kind.
The discoveries that have been made in other venues, either other rodent models or any kind of other models, and cherry pick those to go directly into shrimp sheep.
So we've actually screened in sheep over 1,000 compounds already, and we picked libraries that have been screened by others as well. And there are a list of compounds that have gone through the clinical stages and are somewhere in those clinical stages, phase 1 to 3. And we have identified from our screen that the compounds that produce the best results in our screen are actually in clinical stages for other neurological disorders, migraines, Alzheimer's, dementia, memory, even cognitive function as well. So our screen is validated by going retroactively using compounds that have already shown effect. We screened that in a huge library and found that the compounds with best effect are the ones that are in clinical phases. And that is an exit strategy we have, is to take compounds to some part of the clinical phase and then exit around that time point, depending 1 to 3, and the evaluation of the company does increase dramatically as you go through the phases.
So, last two-part question. How long do you think it's going to take you to get to the point of being able to out-license things? And how are you going to fund it until you get to that point?
So we are actually applying to public NIH grants, such as the STTR, to fund the endeavors. And we have this special waiver that allows for multi-year grants. And there's also the phase 2 as well. So that is what we're applying to right now. We are already in negotiation with our university to license it ourselves, and also speaking with other big companies to license either the platform or the drugs that come out of the platform, to license or partner with them to help us to develop these therapeutics and move on to the clinical stages. As it's such an expensive endeavor, it's unlikely that we would be able to do it by ourselves. A typical model in drug discovery.
Thank you, Arthur.
All right, thank you, everyone. Good luck. Thanks.
I'll probably be the one that like makes it go fuzzy or something. And you just clip this on. Maybe. Should have worn pockets. Oh no, you're fine. Thank you. Doctor hands. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Lydia Davies. I'm the founder of TeeMates Golf. TeeMates Golf is a community golf app that links golfers worldwide. It's for people that are new to town, for beginner golfers, for people just looking to get into the game, for people traveling for work, for people going on a family vacation and they want to get away to the course. Our main demographic is age 20 to 50, male and female worldwide. TeeMates Golf has 3 main features of the app. We have a current market overview of 37 million golfers in the US alone. In Europe, the total annual revenue of golf currently is $15.1 billion, and minority youth is quadrupled over the last few decades in golf. Females are also getting more into the game. It's grown exponentially over the time of the pandemic, and we have multiple primary users: new to town, beginner golfers, secondary markets, which are courses, golf brands, apparel companies, tournaments, professional organizations. We have 3 main features of the app currently. You have your profile page that you can set up, put in your handicap, your play preferences. We have a company tagging line now that works kind of like LinkedIn. You can type in your company on the search bar and it will show you everyone that works for that business. We have a news feed for sharing, posting stories, reviews of courses, getting advice on your swing. We have a tee time linking, which is the main feature of the app. This is where you can post a tee time or join a tee time. So you can post a tee time and then it will show you location-based all the golfers in your area. You can then click on them and they will get a notification whether they want to join your tee time. They can accept or decline, kind of like a dating app. Some people call us the Tinder for golf. We also have a marketplace where you can set up your own store and buy and sell golf swag. We currently have 13 working stores on the app. We have over 13,000 users since we first launched the app in the summer of last year, 2021. We have a plan, a roadmap to add in all these new features. Our first revenue model that we were trying to add in is a $6.99 subscription model that includes live scoring and betting games. I don't know if any of you play golf, but there's a lot of games that you play in golf, a lot of money passed on the course. So we plan to add in a Venmo API where you can cash out at the end of your betting game. Our other subscription model is a premium in-app advertising campaign, which works like a boost post for our secondary markets. So if someone cancels a tee time at a golf course, the golf course can go onto their page in the morning and they can do a push promotion, boost their post, and get their tee times filled up, which brings more revenue into them. Our TeeMates users are what we are creating the app for, what we have made the app for, and our whole main focus is to drive user base. So to keep users interested, we will be adding new features such as gamification models using reward systems with biweekly prizes from our local partners, and bringing in the more advanced golfers by adding in the live scoring and betting. Our financial forecast is based on our 66 million person capturable market. We only use 35% of the downloads of that possible market, and 13% of that at $6.99 a month brings us to our projected annual revenue model. We are currently looking for our seed round of $1 million. We hope to expand our team. Currently it is just myself and my husband, and we would like to add in a CTO and a CFO, possible business development person, and add in all our features to our app and actually do some marketing, as it has all been bootstrapped and self-funded so far. This is our growth rate. We are currently in 75% of the countries worldwide. We actually had a tee time posted in Kenya yesterday, which was really cool because we don't have anything going on there yet, so we're expanding all over. We are now actually at over 13,000 downloads, and myself and my husband are the co-founders. And with that, are you down to golf?
We'll open it up for questions.
Sure.
Related to the total number of golf players worldwide, do you see that number increasing over time, or do you see it flat?
100% increasing, yeah. I mean, the female level alone of increase is day by day going up and up and up. Youth getting involved in the game has increased massively. I'm even partnering now with Memorial Golf Course to start a female day there where we can get more women into the game, less intimidated to go up to the tee box since it is a male-dominated sport currently. We are working with the First Tee charity, which helps underprivileged youth get into the game, and they have insane amounts of youth getting involved. So yes, growing for sure.
And I saw on one of the charts that it looks like your Android users are much larger than your Apple users.
Yes, correct. Yes, because other than the US, Android is used in most other parts of the world more than Apple.
So it looks like you want to get a CTO, CFO, you'll need a content creator for your blogging portion, and then also, I would guess, someone to oversee the betting portion.
Yes.
Costs.
Right. So my husband and I actually do all the content right now. He's actually on a golf trip at the moment. He goes and reviews all the courses. They now let him on for free, which is his dream life. And he does most of the content. I think we will continue doing that ourselves because it's very hard to get other people doing proper golf content. We do have a list of Instagram influencer golfers and everything ready to go for marketing purposes, which will help us. We can also use that as content, reposting, whatnot.
How much are you going to be getting off of any of the transactions you get from the secondary sales? So someone buys a t-shirt off your site.
So we currently have our marketplace on there. We have a 6% flat transaction fee for sellers.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how have you generated this growth?
It's all just been online, social media. We were sponsors of the Houston Open last year. We sponsored a ton of charity golf events. We post on Instagram multiple times a day, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're all over every site you can find. Yeah, we do a lot of giveaways as well. We have local partners in town, clothing companies, breweries that we've partnered with, and they give us stuff to post for our giveaways to help with their promotion as well.
And did I see somewhere that you would anticipate capturing 35% of the however many 100 million golfers there are?
Correct, and that is based on other golf apps that we have market researched.
And are they competitors?
They are not. There is no current mirrored competitor. Most of them work more on your golf game. So there's swing tips. It's less of a community based and more of actual focusing on the game of golf. Yeah.
With courses, would these be primarily public courses, or how do you deal with membership for course?
Correct. So actually there has been some private courses posted on there for tee times, and you just come in as a guest. But in general, it is more public courses.
Have you guys looked into partnering with different courses primarily?
Yes, that is part of our next model, actually, when we add the in-app advertising campaigns. And we have some brands and courses testing out the ads. They just post on the feed to see how much, like we had a tea company the other day post, if you put TeeMates 20 when you check out, you get 20% off. And they've been trying it out so that when we do add in our boost promotions, we can get the analytics for that. Yes.
You said you wanted to, that you needed $1 million. How long is that going to last you, and when will your revenues break?
So that will last for the rest, was supposed to be. We started looking for the funding late last year. It was supposed to be for the whole of 2022, so for a year. And our rev models, the bids that we've had from the dev teams to add in all the rev models and the gamification is 3 months. So if we add in the first rev model could be done within the next month, contingent on funding. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Oh.
I have a very childish question. Where do I actually clip it? Just like in the pocket?
Pocket, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, just okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, that's gonna be you.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Do you want to go there?
Yeah. Sure.
Wait, Tess, can you guys hear me on the mic?
Yeah, we're good.
You're good? All right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, last but certainly not least, we have Kunal and Vaughn with Anvil Diagnostics.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity to present at your inaugural pitch competition. I'm Pavan, this is Kunal, and we are grad students at Rice working to revolutionize how we diagnose millions of patients each year with life-threatening infections. Our technology is based on 6 years of groundbreaking research from Rice University, and we're currently raising pre-seed capital to help us secure our intellectual property and fund early business development. Now, we're focused on a case of sepsis, which is a condition caused when infections turn invasive that kills the most patients and costs the most money in US hospitals each year. And time is of the essence because patient survival can drop as much as 8% for every hour of delay in getting them on the right treatment. Now, we can treat patients effectively with the right drug if we know the type of bug that's actually infecting them. But the problem is that diagnostics today are bottlenecked by a step called blood culture, which can take days. Doctors have long been calling for a solution to provide results within hours instead, which is a critical time window to treat patients. Now, the COVID pandemic has made us all more familiar than we ever wanted to be with rapid diagnostics, but today's technologies rely on techniques that are designed to go after one type of bug at a time, whereas in sepsis, there are dozens to hundreds of pathogens to look for in a single sample. And so that's where we come in. We're developing a rapid test to provide results within 4 hours that also comprehensively covers the pathogens involved in sepsis to provide results back to doctors 3 to 10 times faster than the standard of care. Now, here's 4 years of my PhD research on half a slide. So we capture pathogen DNA in these droplets, and we can barcode each type of pathogen by the presence or absence of certain key words in that DNA to scalably assign barcode identifiers to each type of bug. And we've actually done this in the lab. So on the left, what you're seeing is at the top of each of these wells is 15,000 droplets that have captured different pathogen genes that are giving us quantitative results back. We've done this with the proof of concept experiments with 12 bacteria, showing about 97% accuracy, and we filed a provisional patent late last year. Now, our position in competitive landscape is quite promising. Most of our competitors rely on culture, which fundamentally delays their results by days. Those that don't either have to focus on very narrow panels of just a few common bugs or rely on complex workflows that delay results by several hours. Anvil Diagnostics hopes to be the first solution to provide a rapid, comprehensive test on a single device to provide results back in a time frame that can be a matter of life and death for many patients. Now, our value proposition is simple. By getting patients healthier faster, we can save hospitals thousands of dollars for each patient with sepsis. Validating this kind of value driver would make our consumables essentially sell themselves.
So with thousands of dollars saved, we can comfortably consumables will be the primary driver of our revenue growth, which looks like it will be $24 million 3 years post-launch and around $132 million at our peak in the US alone. Now this US market makes up a significant portion of the global sepsis diagnostic space, which is projected to hit $1.1 billion by 2027. 15% of that global space is situated in just 665 hospitals here in the United States. These hospitals are relatively large and have strong antimicrobial stewardship programs, which essentially means that they have personnel dedicated to making sure that antibiotics are used responsibly. We'll start local and identify a foothold in the Houston, Texas area that fits this customer profile and use those same criteria to expand statewide and national. We anticipate that our next major value inflection point will be at the end of this year, when we'll secure exclusivity on our license, and the end of next year, when we should have full patent conversion. And by 2025, we anticipate FDA approval and to be ready for product launch. Pavan and I have been working on this for about a year now, refining our business plan through pitch competitions, accelerators, and workshops. And we're trying to surround ourselves with a world-class advisory board as well, like Dr. Wes Long from Methodist, who's helping to validate our need. And our solution, something that we feel is a win-win-win solution for sepsis diagnostics. Clinicians get a faster route to therapy, patients get better outcomes, and administrators can see financial benefits. We're currently in a $125,000 non-dilutive pre-seed round and looking forward to opening up our equity-based $2 million seed round later this year. Once again, my name is Kunal, this is Pavan, and together we can all be Anvil Diagnostics. Thank you.
I've got a few.
Sure.
Okay, so 40% of us have Staph aureus already on us. Doesn't really matter, but if you have methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, that's a problem. So you're looking for bugs. What about looking for pathogenic factors? So if you have some sort of antibiotic resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, our core differentiating aspects are on the identification side. So we're providing quantitative identification results of the different microbes in the sample. We envision that this is a prerequisite to actually do phenotypic drug susceptibility testing. While our core differentiators are on identifying the type of bug, we envision either offering an immediate follow-up susceptibility test, or hospitals may be able to choose their best method given the identity.
Another one is just implementation. I think it's more of a statement rather than a question. But so clinics only have so many pieces of equipment. They've already got a PCR machine. The PCR machine can do multiple kinds of tests. What is going to be your, how are you going to convince them to buy a brand new machine and to bring brand new disposables?
Sure. So we think that the differentiating aspects of being able to provide these results without blood culture will be a strong value driver for this market. But to your point, yes, it's important for devices to have multiple use cases. While we're initially targeting sepsis and blood samples as our primary focus, the core sensing technology can work on multiple types of infection indications. So we do envision some sort of broader use, so it's not just for this niche case.
Can I ask what your affinity molecule is, or what are you guys using to actually determine?
Sure. Yeah, we're using novel methods in PCR, but we're also using new techniques in signal processing and data science to efficiently fingerprint and unmix fingerprints in samples. I hope that, I'd be happy to chat further offline too.
Good enough.
But yeah, it's PCR based in microfluidic space.
Okay, so you could expand to other panels.
Yeah, easily. So we have a 12 bacteria panel for our proof of concept, but this is mostly driven by lab budget and scalability on a bench. We're hoping to do preclinical studies with 30 to 50 different pathogens this year.
Okay, make sure you cover all the NIH top suspects for.
Oh, absolutely.
Infection.
We started with those. So.
So are the PCR products you're looking for labeled with fluorescence, where you could use something like flow cytometry?
Yes, currently they are fluorescence based. And
Because everybody has a flow cytometer hanging around.
totally. So for the microfluidic solutions we're using, some people do couple those with flow cytometers. So there might be, our innovations so far are in the lab with these types of commercial instruments. Whether or not we choose to develop a custom solution in a whole standalone device or integrating with existing devices like you mentioned is something that we're exploring still.
Yeah, because barcoding has been done with antibodies labeled with 40 different fluorophores at the same time. So that technology has been around for 15 years.
Sure, but doing this at the single cell level for microbes is a different story. Right now, to be able to screen for that many different microbes, blood culture is necessary to get enough copies of the cells to actually be able to differentiate that many. So yes, flow cytometry exists, but differentiating at the level necessary for infection diagnostics hasn't been in a culture-free format yet.
And I think the microfluidic portion of it might be something you should maybe stress a little bit more in your, because that's a big strength. You're not using very much for reagents. You can use much smaller of a sample, and you can look at something in bacteremia where you're actually not getting that many bacteria involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll definitely stress that more. But yeah, the challenge is that there can be as few as 1 or 10 cells in a sample, and you have millions to billions of human cell backgrounds. So it's really challenging to do this needle in the haystack approach.
Besides sepsis, what are some other things that you're looking at being able to screen for in the future?
Sure, yeah. So there's a lot of different ways infections can present. Meningitis is probably another high critical need where it's time sensitive and low copies of different types of pathogens. So we think we have some differentiating aspects there. There's also uses in respiratory or urinary tract infections as well that we could expand to. And if we get the tech working well enough, there's the emerging microbiome space as well, where we, pick your favorite Greek yogurt or kombucha, and we might be able to help develop those products. But we're focused on infections for now.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. All right. So now we're going to give the judges a little bit of time, and I will take this from you.
Sure.
So before I turn on our lovely music again, I wanted to first talk about the Marmo, the incredible place that you're in today. So for a show of hands, raise your hand if this is your first time at the Marmo. All right, let's give yourselves a round of applause. We're so excited to have you guys here. I wanted to talk briefly about Marmo Innovations. Marmo Innovations is a nonprofit created to support the Galveston County entrepreneur community with funding and advice, and is made up of biotech, fintech, and general tech advisors committed to providing support to local and regional startups. So I wanted to give a huge, huge thank you to Jimmy and Kelly McClure for creating the Marmo. And also for funding tonight's pitch event. So we owe them all the thanks in the world for this. And if you'd like to learn more about the Marmo, there is another slide. You can go to marmoplaza.com/innovations and check out what else is happening around here. So we'll give the judges a little bit of time. And for now, feel free to talk and listen to this great music. We'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to leave this here.
Don't say anything, right? This will be you.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. with all of our startups. I think we have some munching upstairs. Nigel, Arthur. I feel like my mom. We're going to take a group picture real quick. Where'd Arthur go? Wait, we're missing Arthur. Oh, let me click to the... Wait, hold on. Sorry. Let me get to the... There you go. All right. All right. So now our much anticipated, wait. Okay, so we will start with third place. First, of course, I wanted to say thank you all for participating. I hope you enjoyed your experience and got to connect with really awesome people. So with all that said, third place, if I can get a drum roll, goes to Social Bevy. So here you go.
Thank you.
Of course. Did you want to take a picture, Jimmy?
Oh, sure.
Yep. We'll take a couple pictures here. Perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, second place, drum roll, goes to TeeMates Golf. Congratulations. Perfect. All right. And first place goes to Anvil Diagnostics. You guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amazing. All right. So that will conclude our night. I wanted to give our judges a huge, huge thank you for spending your evening with us and being part of this. And of course, again, to Jimmy and Kelly and the Marmo. So thank y'all so much. And that's it.
Good job.